know about anybody else, but for 2025, I'm locking in on my apartment, okay? I'm not going nowhere. I'm staying home. I'm tired of paying these high prices rent. I'm over it. I'm locking in my place. That's it. I will make a gym in a little corner somewhere. I will read. I will watch me 1,000 movies before I continue to go outside. There's nothing outside for me. I'm tired of paying rent. I'm over it. Then they got the nerve to go up 4% every year. Like how? Why?
It's a business. Hey guys, I want your opinion out there to see if the sentiment that these folks on this video are going to be speaking about is accurate. What is your experience pertaining to renting or owning? For those of you that don't know, my name is Robert and welcome to the channel. Take a few seconds, guys, to hit that like bell, subscribe, and notification button because it really helps the channel, and I thank you in advance. Also, I'm a lender. If you are in need of residential finance at single family, duplex, triplex, fourplex, anywhere in these United States, I'm your guy. We simplify the home loan process. That information will be pinned in the comment section and description below. Now let's get into the video.
I'm realizing my husband and I can never break up because, baby, I don't have any idea how I would be able to afford rent now. I've been living on my own since 2017. Like, I've rented apartments since 2017. And that to me is really not that long ago to be able to say that rent's doubled in some of these apartments. Like, I remember paying maybe $700 in the majority of these apartments, and some of them have already gotten to almost $1,400.
This is something that I've tried to express to my clients in that same time frame. I have several clients today that have been on the sidelines since 2017, either waiting for home prices to go down or interest rates to go down. And if you've lived or been on the fence with buying a home in that time frame from 17 to now, you've noticed that home prices have gone up a lot because of what happened during the pandemic. A lot of folks missed the lower interest rates that were happening at that time because of lack of inventory and such demand for homes for all of the reasons that people were looking for homes. And so you find yourself in a conundrum, and rents are going up. There's been a slight decrease in certain markets where a lot of inventory was brought on, in my opinion, gear up for the largest cohort of people, the millennials, since the baby boomers. And so in certain markets, you might have a flat line or even a decreasing in rental units, especially in multifamily units, where they're doing discounts and things of that nature to get you in. But don't be fooled with that, because as time goes on, 2026, 7, 8, 9, 30, a lot of you guys are going to be paying on average, like this young lady is saying, for a very small square footage, you're going to be paying $2,500 plus. And so if you are in a position to be able to buy, and that's something that you want to do, you need to really look at your numbers and understand the variables that you guys are looking for. Lower prices and lower rates aren't going to happen, in my professional opinion, because of a lack of housing stock. Inventory is still a lack, regardless of what you hear. And because of all the money printing that has gone on, rates are going to be best case, in my opinion, over the next couple of years. If we get in the mid fives, 5 to high 6, mid 7 range, depending on what's going on a daily basis in the economy. Let's get back into it.
How are they justifying that? Like, how are they justifying that big of an increase? Like, they probably haven't been updated since I lived there too. First apartment I ever rented with my friends. We rented it for, I think the cheapest apartment that we could rent was like $790, something like that. And then we got a 2-bedroom, so it was closer to 1,000, but we had 4 roommates. We just divided it amongst all of us. And my rent was like $250. But I remembered that the cheapest one they had was like $790. What is this? What is this increase? That's insane. The cheap rent is almost doubled. And
what that is, as I alluded to in the intro, is business. Depending on where you are, real estate investors, multifamily unit operators have had to play the pricing game a little bit due to too much housing stock in multifamily being online in certain areas. But as she's saying, in the area that she's in, it's doubled from 2017. This is where the education comes in and hopefully help some of you guys get off the sideline. We're speaking rental properties here, but it applies to with home prices. You have to look, you got to take a further perspective. You have to go out further. And in this case, I like the numbers. Let's go 2017 and then look today, whatever today is when you're watching this video. And are the decreases potentially in rent or home prices, if you will, have they fallen to the level of 2017, or are they down from their current highs? And so if you have that gap, that delta, that change there, you're losing, and home prices are going to continue to get higher, and rent prices aren't too far from there. And the reason they can do that is they have a captive market. Now, one thing that she did say that I liked was the fact that she has roommates. That may be something that you have to do, and you want to make sure you understand what that looks like. But if you're renting, roommates, rent hacking is a way for you to lower your total overall cost of living. You can also do the same thing when owning a home to help you be able to lower your cost of ownership and build an asset in doing so. It's called house hacking. Let's get back into it.
I need to emphasize, this was not in like some crazy rich city. This was in Chesapeake, Virginia, like a very average city. Then I moved because I found a cheaper apartment across town because my first apartment was actually kind of nice. And when we found the cheaper one, it was like maybe $700. This one is $1,035 for the absolute cheapest model. Was not in a crazy good area of town either. Now, this one is insane to me for a few reasons. I need to give context though, because it's going to sound like a good deal anyway. First of all, I lived in this one in 2018, and this ad hasn't been updated since like around 21, so this is only like a 3-year difference. It was also in a completely different city, and this was Petersburg, Virginia. If anyone knows anything about Petersburg, Virginia, it is not a great area to live in, and I lived in one of the more rough apartment complexes in that area. I loved it. Everyone there was really nice to me. I never realized it was in a good quality apartment complex until like bugs started happening because my own roommate was so psycho. I never noticed the crazies around me. My rent was like $350 and my other roommate was $350. So our apartment was $700. The absolute cheapest apartment that you can get there, because we didn't even live in the cheapest. We lived in a 2-bedroom. So to get a 1-bedroom is a $200 price increase, which is crazy to me because this is to live in the middle of Petersburg, Virginia.
So she's hitting a lot of points. As I try to educate and talk to you guys all the time, you have to look at your local market. But everywhere, every neighborhood, every city has a less desirable place to live. And so what I like to point out in what she's saying, and I like to, again, hear what you guys are saying, is when you don't have any options, you have to take whatever is available. I'll give her credit. She didn't want to say she was in the hood. You know, she was like, well, you know, I like living there. And she tried to make the situation better, or not make the place where she was living seem bad or the people around it. But it is what it is. And we all know and understand, based upon our mindset and our viewpoints, bad is relative. Okay. Point is this: you want to be able to have options. And as you can see, as time is going on, options are becoming limited, and there's a lot of issues going on. We've done some recent videos on student loans, layoffs, things of that nature. But she said something in the beginning of her video saying she could never leave her husband. I would say this: 2 is better than 1. 3 or more is even better, because you help lower the cost. So you guys have to start thinking outside of the box when it comes to your housing, and stop trying to do everything on your own because it's more expensive. And then understand you have to get in where you fit in. I'm jumping to the home ownership side now. A lot of folks, because of social media and things online, tend to want to reach for more than we actually can afford. Understanding your budget, knowing your numbers is key, not just with renting, but with owning as well. I want to hear what you guys think. Do you think ownership is out of reach? Do you think renting is becoming more and more out of reach for nice, clean, safe, affordable areas? Let's continue.
I honestly think it is way cheaper to rent a home in 2025. Now, don't get me wrong. I think everyone should own a home. But if I'm being honest, I think it's cheaper to rent right now. I'm seeing these new mortgages just because of the current interest rates and the prices. And I'm seeing what rents are. And I see rent is actually coming down as well as home prices. But it's still cheaper to rent. Don't get me wrong. I think eventually that things will change. But in the meantime, it's cheaper to rent. Now, a lot of realtors will say it's better to buy. But I mean, I guess it just depends on the situation you in. But as of right now, I think it's still cheaper to rent.
I love this young man's perspective. I love his logic and outlook on what's really going on today. For a lot of you, renting is the way to go. It's going to be less expensive than buying a home. He also stated that he thinks ownership is the way to go. And I agree with him. But the key is this: can you afford it? It's not for everybody. So for those of you that may not be able to get onto the property ladder, my recommendation to you is this: you have to find a way to take care of your future self. Okay. You have to find a way to take your money today and have it grow so that your future self will be able to take a break, relax, not work as hard, because as you get older, things change. That's just the way it is. But for those of you that can get onto the property ladder, it's about knowing your numbers. It's about understanding your situation, as he stated. Doesn't matter what I think. Doesn't matter what a realtor thinks. All that matters is, do you have a life event? Is your family growing? Is your family downsizing? Do you have an opportunity for better employment in another location where you have to move? Those are the reasons that you have to make sure you understand when you're thinking about buying a home. For those of you that check all those boxes and you can afford to buy a home, then your next step is to consult with someone and find out what that looks like for you, so that you have all the information to make the best decision. I still want to know what you guys think. Am I out of my mind? Do I sound like a salesman? Or does it sound like I'm calling it fairly, like the last gentleman did? Is it better to rent or to own? Get down in those comment sections. Let's hear your thoughts, opinions, and experiences, because as the tide rises, so do all boats. We'll talk to you soon.